Saint Arborius and his thin dog, episode 8, The Miracle of the Wall Painting. One fine summer's day, Brother Arborius was out performing his holy duty of walking the thin dog, as decreed by Aid and Abet, when he noticed an unfamiliar fellow sitting on a hillock, intent on an inexplicable occupation. The stranger was a heavy, tonsured chap in a fashionable-looking sackcloth robe. He was accompanied by pots of paint, heaps of wet plaster, trowels, brushes, and a very large stone wall, propped against an extremely large easel. Beside him was a bowl of funny mushrooms. He bestowed no more than a casual glance on Brother Arborius, and Brother Arborius felt disinclined to accost a stranger, especially one so fashionably attired, so he went on walking the thin dog. But the stranger was there again on the following day, and the next, and the next, always accompanied by paint, plaster, trowels, brushes, big stone wall, and easel, and funny mushrooms. On the fifth day, Brother Arborius's curiosity got the better of him. "Morning," he said. "Who are you, and what are you doing, if you don't mind my asking? And even if you do." "Morning," smiled the stranger. "I'm Brother Francis from the late 14th century. "Never been there, or then," said Brother Arborius. "What's it like?" "Bit of a dump, to tell you the truth," confided Brother Francis. "Weather's been lousy for the best part of 100 years. Society's not recovered from the Black Death. Church is run by assholes, and it's paranoid about tertiary expansionism, and also about heresy because of the revenue implications. Technological progress hasn't got going yet, so the concept of wealth creation hasn't caught on. Kings are getting too much power. Now, better than this dump, mind you," he added, pointing vaguely around with the non-bristly end of a brush. "Don't know how you can stick it. Beats me how you lot ever got yourselves out of the Dark Ages." Don't see the problem myself," shrugged Brother Arborius. "Exactly," exclaimed Brother Francis. "How can you attack a problem when you can't see that there's a problem?" "Oh, bollocks," countered Brother Arborius, who had been introduced by Brother Erudicio to the logical works of Cassiodorus and Isidora. "If you don't see a problem, you don't have a problem. QED. According to Iconicus, a hair-splitting scholastic debate ensued from this opposition of thesis and antithesis. But enough said. What Brother Francis actually replied was, "Show us how you primitive 7th century gets to know about anything. Here's me busy creating the painting for the south wall of the nave for our new church, being as how I have this brilliant and divine gift for art, and I end up arguing the toss with a semi-illiterate moron like you. Mind you, sod off. Sancta Maria Mater Dei, what was that? That growling noise." "My thin dog. But you think you're calling a semi-illiterate moron? If you're painting the scene around here, it's me you want to put right in the centre of it." Brother Arborius noted the thin dog's tacit approval of his speech and added, "By the way, what's a wall painting?" "Painting in plaster on a wall." Brother Francis surveyed the half-completed wall on his easel and gestured towards it, then sneered at Brother Arborius. "Yeah, right. Listen, maybe there's something you can help me. There's supposed to be this guy Arborius somewhere around here now. He's just about to be canonized, according to the vision I saw. So I'm supposed to be inspired to depict his life and works. Old wives' tale of a vision, if you ask me. But you have to play along with visions. In this vision, anyone called Arborius." Brother Arborius grinned a satisfied grin and savoured the moment that sometimes comes in scholarly debate when you have your opponent securely by the gonads and twist at your leisure. "Goodness me, Brother Francis," he began sweetly. "Late 14th century, said you were from, I believe. Now, how on earth or elsewhere has it taken so long to get around to canonizing me? No, you don't try to answer. You cannot be held responsible for—" "Oh, oh." At this point, he introduced a stylish pause into his speech, raised his hand to stroke his heel halo in an illustrative sort of way, and realized that this was one of those mornings when he'd forgotten something important, and Brother Dunbar had failed to say "do" at the appropriate moment. It occurred to him the impression of ripped gonads was illusory. Brother Francis shook his head, returned to his painting, and ceased to pay any attention to our hero. "Oh, Boreas, my arse," he added sotto voce, adding a delicate touch to the flowing white robe of an angel. Brother Arborius wandered away disconsolate. He kicked a dead stick and muttered, "You wait." The thin dog seized the stick and then inquired what witless asshole had tried to feed her a lump of dead wood. Arborius was quite unable on returning to the monastery to locate his halo. It wasn't in his bunk, or under it, or under the refectory bench, or the table, or in the cloister, or the scriptorium, or the chapel, or the garden, or the latrine. He searched by daylight and by candlelight, unwilling to report its disappearance or even allowing anyone to suspect it, all the while becoming more and more suspicious of Brother Bestial, as a matter of principle rather than for any specific reason. And everywhere he looked, there, lo and behold, his halo wasn't. Bugger, said Brother Arborius, and went to bed. The halo still wasn't there in the morning. The daily dog walk loomed. From the garden, Brother Arborius caught a glimpse of Brother Francis, south wall of nave in hand, setting up his easel on the hillock. Brother Arborius was in a quandary. Then from out of the blue there came a blinding flash of inspiration. In later times, after the invention of electric lighting, it would have been called a light bulb moment. He called the thin dog. Listen, you want to take me for a walk today? He inquired. You better, asshole, said the thin dog, or there'll be retribution. Right, now, see that asshole? Which asshole? The world's full of them. The one over there. The wassock in the cassock, the pillock on the hillock you growled at yesterday. Oh, right. The arty asshole with a fancy wall painting. You got it. Now, I need to be seen complete with halo by said arty asshole, and I can't find my halo. Duff shit. What the hell do you expect me to do about it? Brother Arborius outlined his proposal, and the thin dog succinctly explained what would happen to him if he dared. Brother Arborius indicated several possible advantages to the thin dog, and the thin dog was unimpressed. Brother Arborius lost patience, seized the thin dog, and bent her into a shining off-white circle, and the debate was adjourned. Brother Arborius went out for his walk. Good morning, Brother Francis, he called merrily. What a delightful morning the Almighty has bestowed upon us. How fares the wall painting? Brother Francis looked up, frowning with annoyance, and then jumped and froze, pop-eyed. His jaw and paintbrush fell to the ground. Brother Arborius smiled, a bland, a beatific smile. Progressing satisfactorily, I trust, he concluded. Said Brother Francis, which was far from lucid, but was all that could be expected of an artistic monk with his jaw on the ground. What seems to be the trouble? Asked Brother Arborius. Replied Brother Francis, pointing at his head. Oh, yes. Brother Dumbo often says much the same. At this point, the Socratic dialogue was interrupted by an ominous noise from the edge of the forest that lay a little way from the hillock. A moment later, two wild boars with angry red eyes charged out of the trees and rushed towards them, tusks first. The creatures had apparently been enraged by something Brother Francis had added to the wall painting, perhaps the boar's head on the platter, or perhaps the apple in his mouth. Since the monks were unarmed and could not run as fast as boars, having only half the number of legs each, the actual casus belli was neither here nor there. The confrontation promised to be brief and one-sided. Brother Francis uttered loud and unhygienic remarks from both ends simultaneously. But Brother Arborius could think quickly under pressure. He whipped off his stand-in halo and hurled it, discus fashion, at the porcine attackers. The halo is seldom portrayed in ecclesiastical art as an offensive weapon, because for the most part it isn't one. But weapons don't come much more offensive than that particular example. An instant later, the two bores had been transmuted to 4 half-bores, a testimony to the accuracy of the throw and the sharpness of the halo. The halo unwound itself into the shape of a thin dog. Each half-bore was picked up, thoroughly shaken, and then rolled in, all in rapid succession. By the mass, swore Brother Francis, I don't believe I've ever seen a niftier miracle than that. You really are Sanctimonious, aren't you? Nifty may be, nifty beyond doubt, retorted Brother Arborius, handing the futuristic painter a copy of Iconicus on reasonably soft parchment. You anticipate, Brother Francis, from what you tell me, I'm not going to be canonized in some 700 years. Look, I'm a bit embarrassed about this, muttered Brother Francis, wiping himself clean. Yesterday I mistook you for a total asshole. I shouldn't worry, replied Brother Arborius mildly. My halo does that all the time. What I was going to say, went on Brother Francis, was, well, if you don't have any objection, that is, well, the thing is, artistic license is all well and good in its way, but you don't want to be getting it endorsed with 6 penalty points or whatever. I like some realism in my wall paintings. I really want to make everything so. Well, I'd like to represent you as you really are for later ages to say that. So it's not too much of a bloody cheek to ask. Well, if you'd be willing to model for me, standing in front of me, looking all holy with your halo on. If you think she's going back on my head after what she's been rolling in, you've got another think coming, said Brother Arborius. However, tomorrow is another day. I'll post for you then. All I have to do in the meantime is to take this item home and bath her thoroughly, with plenty of shampoo. And find my real halo, he added to himself. Which leg do you want me to bite off first, you jerk? Inquired the stand-in halo. Brother Arborius took his leave of the artist, and the surrogate halo, rushing melodiously around him, enjoyed a brisk walk. Back at the monastery, after several prayers to the apostles for divine protection, and after securing the assistance of Brother Dumbo, he took his life in his hands and bathed the thin dog, whose observations on the proceedings are said to have been recorded by Cantankerous Spleneticus in a fragment subsequently lost through spontaneous combustion. None of this would have happened if I hadn't mislaid my halo in the first place, said Brother Arborius to Brother Dumbo. I can't imagine what's become of it. Brother Dumbo was putting a large plateful of sirloin steak, venison, and stolen cat food down on the floor in an effort to pacify the thin dog, who sampled the concoction critically, delicately, and crossly. He pointed downwards with a broad but apologetic grin, or to be more precise, with a podgy big finger. Dog, he admitted. Brother Arborius thought that Brother Dumbo had mistaken his meaning, but then something about the plate from which the thin dog was nibbling began to strike him as familiar. The plate was not the new pot that Brother Bestiald had acquired from the peddler. It was flatter and shinier. No, it's for dog-like, explained Brother Dumbo, looking shifty despite the apologetic grin. Thanks a bunch, Brother Dumbo, said Brother Arborius. Fine saint I'm going to look, posing for my portrait with a halo stinking of cat food. To cut a long story short, Brother Arborius recovered his halo, washed it thoroughly, but he still had to model it for Brother Francis with his nose protected by the clothes peg he'd used while melting the tallow that had subsequently sealed the hick. Brother Francis duly represented the clothes peg in his wall painting, to the consternation and puzzlement of his 14th century peers and superiors, and to all the parishioners who went to the church to pray. The surprise value of the wall painting didn't last, however. It was whitewashed over during the Reformation, and hasn't been seen or mentioned since. Miraculous.